Hey guys, I'm Ash from Training and Inspection Services, and we provide self-paced e-learning courses for API Individual Certification Program exams. These are preparatory course for API 510, 570, 571, 577, 580, 653, 1169, SIFE Source Inspector Fixed Equipment, and SIFE Source Inspector Rotating Equipment. For each of these areas, we have two packages for you. One is the, as you can see, the full course, and one is the mock exams. The full course would be detailed explanation of the publication effectivity sheet and body of knowledge, whereas the mock exam would be a combination of flashcards and mock exam and introductory videos. Let's go to API SIFE Source Inspector Fixed Equipment and see what this course has got to offer. Now, if you go to the curriculum, you can see that the table of contents has got basic facts, a video, and a benchmark quiz, and it's available to all for free. The basic facts will talk about the registration, the exam tips, time management, and the A to Z of what is this API SIFE is about. And benchmark quiz, we are going to solve some 20 questions. And then body of knowledge and scoring area, then there would be a guide for source inspection and quality surveillance of fixed equipment. We have explained this in detail. You can see the actual document from API ICP website for free because there is no copyright on this, and this is it's very important that you thoroughly study that if you are doing a self-study. And SSPC and MSS, coating and casting, and materials, ASME section 2, comprehensive ASME section 5 non-destructive examination, introduction to NDE and all the popular NDE methods, flashcards and practice question, NDT personal qualification, SNTTC1A, welding engineering, ASME section 9, WPS WPQ, flashcards and practice questions, welding inspection, processes, visual inspection, defects and repairs, and flashcards and practice questions, AWS D11 Structural Welding Code and Building Inspector Handbook, and Construction Code for Pressure Vessel, ASME Section 8, the Basic Knowledge, the UG, General Rules, UCS, Rules for Carbon Steel, UW for Welding, and then the flashcards, Inspection of Pressure Vessel 572, Process Piping B31.3, Flanges and Fittings B16.5, Positive Material Identification 578, Valve Inspection 598, and then there would be 14 sets of flashcards and 3 mock exams plus practice questions and quizzes. So in a nutshell, you shall have 8 hours of video, 14 sets of flashcards, 39 lessons, and 750 questions. So far, none of our candidates failed, but in case you fail, you have 2 options with us. Either you can ask us to give you a free access for another 4 months to the course, so you can attend it again, or you can ask us for your full refund, no question asked. We provide 120 days, 24/7 course access and online support. Okay, let's go now. And then the overview section, you can see the explanation for each module, what you're expected to learn. And if you want our mock exam package, it has 750 questions, 14 sets of flashcards, and 1 hour of video. Okay, let's try our SIFE Source Inspector Fixed Equipment sample questions now. We try to create the same environment as API exam. So all our mock exams are timed according to API timing. And you can see here question 1 of 20. You can flag off the question. You can see answer here, which obviously you can't see in API exam, but if you're interested to see exactly the answer immediately, and then there would be next and previous buttons. And question 1 of 20. Cold working is plastic deformation below the recrystallization temperature. Hot working is plastic deformation above the recrystallization temperature. Maximum allowable working pressure is the maximum gauge pressure at the top of the pressure vessel, because you should ignore the static head. If you put the gauge at the mid or below the pressure vessel, uh, it would be the gauge at the top plus the static head of the water or the fluid, test fluid. So it should always be at the top, the most onerous condition. Magnesium symbol is Mg. Remember here, after M, ignore A, there is a G. Manganese, forget A again, the next one is N, so it's Mn, the symbol. MPS means nominal pipe size. There might be very basic question during the exam. The maximum permitted ovality tolerance of pressure vessel shell shall not exceed 1%. This is a practical type of question of the nominal diameter of the vessel. Qualification is a combination of the following: skill, knowledge, and training. Commitment is not part of the qualification. So except commitment. The process of monitoring or observing the inspection activities associated with materials, equipment, and or components for adherence to the specific procedure, product specification, code, or standard specified in the contractual requirement is called quality surveillance. You, as a source inspector, is actually performing quality surveillance. It's not quality control, it's not quality assurance, it's not purely, we don't have anything as quality inspection, no term as such. So it's quality surveillance. Root mean score is a measure of surface finish, RMS. Documents filled out by source inspector indicating concern or other factual description of what was noticed during the course of product surveillance, but not necessarily issues that may be considered defects or requiring NCR, is called Supplier Observation Report, SOR. It is intended to flag off the issues and problems that may lead to an NCR if not resolved. So to be proactive, the inspector issues a supplier observation report if he feels there is something is going to end to an NCR. And 12. A document that contains the requirement and acceptance criteria for the manufacturing and fabrication of specific types of equipment and components is called a specification. Now, acceptance criteria you could also find in codes and standard, but not for specific components or equipments. Procedure normally does not have acceptance criteria because they write the procedure so they can use it everywhere. If they put the acceptance criteria in a procedure, then for every type of equipment they have to put a unique procedure. So to avoid that, they put the acceptance criteria in a specification and they refer to the specification in the procedure. Reheating a hardened metal to a temperature below the transformation range to improve toughness is called tempering. VDDR, Vendor Document and Drawing Requirements. Authorized inspector approval is required to release prior. Obviously, he should approve it before you release, because there's no point after the release to approve it. Each inspection report should be reviewed for all of the following: content, completeness, technical clarity. You don't look at for progress reports, although some companies they ask for progress reports from inspector, but this is a conflict of interest and never works really. So what you're looking at the inspection report: content, completeness, technical clarity. It should be a standalone. The ultimate risk associated for each equipment item is probability of failure multiplied by consequences failure. Risk, that is what is this risk about. If any conflict should arise during the inspection activity, the source inspector should notify his or her supervisor for resolution. You don't go to the client, you don't go to vendor, you don't go to sub-vendor. You first report to your line manager. Later edition of industry codes and standards does not apply if the contract or purchase order has specified an earlier edition of a specific standard. Because if it applies, uh, then every time during the construction or fabrication, the code and standard changes, then the vendor need to work to the new codes and standards, and then this is not really practical. And anyway, when we sign off the purchase order, so everything is frozen and you cannot change anything without vendor's acceptance. All project documents should have been reviewed, approved by the purchaser, because purchaser is the ultimate user, it's got the ultimate responsibility, so they should approve it. Now, when I say review results, it says you have flagged off the question. Do you want to go back to it, or you want to still see the results? So I want to still see the result, and now the results will turn out to be here. So we answered 20 out of 20. If you answered anything wrong, your answer would be in red. Now all our answers are in blue, and the green tick box means that we answered it correctly against our answer tick box. So you can see all this here. You can also study our first module for free. Thank you for watching. Please visit our website inspectortraining.com and follow us on social media such as